video last week where I was showing you guys how to do that shotgun armbar and we were doing that paper cutter choke, I was thinking about some of the things that's happened over the years in jiu-jitsu for me, and one of them is that I had sort of a renaissance with my collar chokes. One of the two of the big sources was one that was my coach Sean and the way that he finishes his collar chokes. He gave me some great ideas, and one of them was my buddy Muhammad Ali, who had some really good details on the collar chokes. And from between both of those guys, I started taking some of these old chokes way back in the day that I kind of gave up on, that I didn't use or just didn't really have taught to me correctly or whatever, however you want to consider it, but I just wasn't having a lot of success with them. And I've since then been able to have a ton of success with them. And I want to show you some details on them because this could be really helpful to you, obviously for all the white belts and blue belts out there, but especially even if you're higher level and maybe you're like, man, I'm not going to do those basic chokes, they're too simple, then hopefully maybe a couple of these details will be useful to you to bring them back into your game, either to use outright or to have setups to other submissions. Adam is still away for this week, so again, my assistant today is Frank, who doesn't have a thing yet, so again, he's just here with us, helping me demonstrate for your viewing pleasure. Let's get started. X choke. Now, the basic X choke, we can talk about it. One of the big problems that a lot of people had, I'm just gonna kind of go through some of the stuff that I've seen with my students and I experienced as well. Like, when they'll get here into these grips, first off, they start shallow, right? And this is going to be a big problem. They're too shallow. You're not going to be able to finish this thing. So one of the things I always do with my students, I always make sure they open the lapel up. This is anytime you get a cross collar grip, like if you're trying to get a good cross collar grip, open the lapel and get up here on the tag. Because like, you know, things like a tag with a shirt or tag with a gi, right? So like right here, Frank's got his, like put your head down right here. He's got this A3 tag. I want to get in there and touch a tag just like this. And that's going to give me better control of the neck, just as if I was holding the back of the neck in no-gi. Now what's important about this too is it also gives me a little bit deeper of a grip, which if I need to create a little bit more slack, I can loosen up. It's always better if you're doing a choke to start off a little too tight, because then you can always loosen up. Whereas if you're too loose, it's really hard to make that space back up. So again, opening up, we get it, and then again, coming in, shooting that hand underneath, and now we've got our position. Now, here's where I used to mess up as a white belt back in the day when I first started doing this choke. My elbows would flare out and I would pull with my arms, and it might make them turn a little red, but it's not going to be there, right? And it's going to be easy, very easy for them to finish. One of the things that we want to do is when we finish, we want to bring our body together. So I'm going to pull these elbows down using my lats, and then I'm going to flex my wrists. So again, most of the time with collar chokes, when you have them, you're always doing a casting or a pulling. Think fishing, casting or pulling motion with your arms, so your hands. So if I'm here, I'm going to be casting into his neck. If I was grabbing over top here, so because you can have an alternate grip, this one would be pushing, pulling into the neck. Okay. So again, open the lapel, feet in, cut your angle through here, and again, slide it right in. Now we turn the palms. You really want to turn those palms just facing you, just like that. You don't want to leave them sideways. And then I pull the elbows down to my body, bringing my body towards him. So again, I'm utilizing my body weight a little bit more than if I'm just pulling with my arms. I'm now arching my back, pulling him in here, and then from here, we're just flexing the wrists there. Now, here's the thing. Here's what happens a lot of times. When we drill, super easy, right? Super easy to get to it. The problem is that a lot of times people are going to be defending. So what you do is when you get to this position here, people are typically going to be grabbing and everything else. When you get to it, you just hold a little bit longer than what you think is necessary. And a lot of times that tap comes, right? So for instance, if we get in here and we feel that it's a good grip, we're under the neck here and we begin to pull down. Even if he starts to defend, he starts pulling his arms and stuff like that, if we continue to hold and pull our body down, we can finish. And that's one of the things that Muhammad gave to me, was like, you know, big strong dude, man. You know, that's my Muhammad impression. He's so ridiculous. I remember I put him in a straight ankle lock, or I had him in like X guard or something like that. He just does the splits, and I thought I had a pretty good entry. He's a good job, man. You know, but while he's like doing the splits on me, it's so stupid. He's an athletic human being. I'll say it like that. Anyway, so when he was showing the chokes, he was like, man, hold it longer, right? And he was telling this to all my students. I started going back to a lot of my collar chokes, and I would get there, and he was on the neck, but you know, the people weren't tapping immediately, so I would just hold a little bit longer and use a little bit more body weight if I was on top or even on the bottom, really try to pull down with my lats. And again, with that 1,000, 1,000, it started to come a lot more, right? So you can think about the same thing. A rear naked choke is direct, but the arm triangle chokes, north-south chokes, collar chokes, a lot of those take a little bit longer than, say, the traditional rear naked choke. So when you're doing your collar chokes, couple details. One, if you're doing that basic X choke, we want to get deep in the collar. So open the lapel, fish in there, right? Turn the palms towards you like this. And again, pull the elbows down, nice and tight to your body. Again, using your lats to engage. And then when you finish, flex the wrist, pull in. And as you're doing this, get used to holding. Don't go, hold your breath, but get used to holding down. 1, 2, and you might find that you have some more success with the arm bar, the X choke. So just a simple detail with a really basic choke that'll hopefully help some of you guys out. I know we got a lot of white belts out there watching this, but even if maybe you're a little bit more experienced, maybe there's a detail that could be useful to you. So guys, with that said, I'm finished. And Adam's not here, so we don't have jazz hands. And Frank doesn't have a tag yet. He doesn't have like a thing. So if you, here we go. We can always ask the internet.
What's my thing?
What's your thing? So tell us, guys, what should Frank's thing be? What should his thing be? Adam has jazz hands. What should Frank's be? If you have something, throw it down in the comments below, and I'll enforce it on him. Otherwise, I'll demote him to be blue belt.
Unicorn horn.
All right, guys. Hopefully that's useful to you, and I'll talk to you next time.